Dark Souls 3 Remastered claimed to be in the works. Dark Souls 3 could be coming to modern platforms. So I seen this news and I got pretty happy about it, especially because I really do enjoy Dark Souls 3. Unfortunately, that's the only one in the trilogy that I've actually been able to play. I never played the first or second one, mainly just because I never really got too much into the Dark Souls types of games. And the reason I got so into the third one was because I had a buddy that played it a lot. So he kind of told me that he wanted to play together, kind of a thing. So he told me that I should get it, which I ended up doing. And the reason I never really got too much into these types of games is just because I know the type of player that I am. And it's one of those things when I get into a game, especially a game that I enjoy a lot, I'm willing to put in the time and effort no matter how long it takes. And I know that these are the types of games where the boss battles are extremely hard. So you really have to sit there and grind for hours to try to build your character up and everything. And I'm one of the people that ends up getting like obsessed with games sometimes. So I would sit there and try to level my character up so I would be able to beat all the bosses and do all that kind of stuff. So knowing that that's the kind of individual I am when it comes down to these types of games, I've just kind of avoided them in general, just because I know how much time and effort it'll take into it. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and not even try, just because I didn't want to, waste too much time, because I would be willing to do a lot of that. But being able to play it with one of my buddies, was one of the things that really made it fun and enjoyable, even more so than just the game itself. Because I did enjoy the game, I do like playing it. It is a fun time for me. But yeah, so the only one I really got to play was the third one. So seeing that they're going to be coming out with a new version potentially, that is something that I am pretty excited to hear. So we'll go ahead and get into the article, and go ahead and give my thoughts as we go along. So a remaster of Dark Souls 3 has been claimed to be in development by a notable insider. Released in 2016, Dark Souls 3 was the final installment in the Dark Souls trilogy from developer From Software. In the wake of its launch, From Software went on to then develop Sekiro Shadow Die Twice, which unfortunately I haven't been able to play, and Elden Ring, which I also haven't played. Not that I haven't wanted to play them, I've heard nothing but good things about both of those games. I just haven't had the chance to. Elden Ring, I think it's like $40 now, so I would probably end up getting that. And then Sekiro, I don't even know if I see that anymore in stores. Usually when I go to like Walmart or something like that, I don't think I've seen that one. But that is one that I definitely want to pick up and check out, because I heard that is very similar to Dark Souls 3, but I heard it's more difficult. Like you really have to strategize before you decide to actually attack some of the bosses and stuff like that, which it released in 2019 and 2022 respectively. Now, after nearly 10 years away from the Dark Souls IP, it seems that From Software could be returning to the franchise soon with a new remaster of its most recent entry. News of this Dark Souls 3 remaster comes by way of Nick Baker, who is a gaming insider that has had a fair share of accurate scoops in the past. During the latest episode of the Xbox Era podcast, Baker said he had been informed by a source that a remaster of Dark Souls 3 was in development right now. Outside of this broad information tied to the remaster, Baker had nothing else concrete to share in relation to its release. Still, it's presumed that this version of Dark Souls 3 would end up coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox S and S, and PC, while boasting 60 frames per second performance and a fidelity closer to 4K, which I actually heard was good, because I heard that for the Xbox version of it, it was only able to get to 900p, while at least for PlayStation, it was able to get to 1080p. So the fact that they'll be doing a 4K, I'm sure would be an improvement on both consoles, which will be a good thing for fans. So if Dark Souls 3 is indeed being remastered, it wouldn't be the first entry in the series to receive a new iteration of this type. In 2018, a remaster of the original Dark Souls came to all modern platforms and was generally well received by fans. Dark Souls 2 had also previously been ported to PS4 and Xbox One as Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin in 2015, as its original version was only available on PS3 and Xbox 360. And that's got to be another reason why I never actually played the earlier entries, because I pretty much missed out on a lot of the PS3 and Xbox 360 era. I just never had the opportunity, especially because like my growing up, my parents, they wouldn't have kind of got me those systems, especially with how expensive they are. I had a buddy that would come over a lot of the times with his PS3, so I was able to kind of get into like Call of Duty, Black Ops, and stuff like that kind of era of stuff. But yeah, as far as like the Dark Souls games and everything like that, yeah, I pretty much missed out on a lot of that, unfortunately. So perhaps the biggest question that many fans would have about Dark Souls 3 getting the remastered treatment is its selection in favor of Bloodborne. More than any other From Software game, fans have been questioning in droves for a period of multiple years that Bloodborne either gets remastered or remade for PS5. For From Software to work on a remaster of Dark Souls 3 instead of Bloodborne is likely something that would frustrate many fans around the globe. Still, considering how popular Dark Souls 3 remains to this day, news of it being revamped for current gen platforms is still something that would surely excite millions of fans. And Bloodborne is another game that I never actually played, so I can't really give my thoughts too much on that. But that is unfortunate where it is one of those things if fans do find out that they are doing a Dark Souls remaster, they'd be a little bit upset as opposed to them doing Bloodborne. But at the same time, you do kind of have to consider the fact that if they've already done remasters for the first and second game, doing a remaster for the third one would more than likely be understandable in that regard. But yeah, I can definitely understand where people would be upset that they didn't do Bloodborne yet. But that there is a possibility that could be down the line. So I think this is great news. Hopefully, it is something that would come to fruition because from some of the other articles I was able to read up on as well, there is a chance that this could just be kind of a rumor that's out there right now and might be taken with a grain of salt. But if they've already done the first two, I feel like more than likely the third one would be on the way as well. So I think that's really awesome. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Would you guys be looking forward to having Dark Souls 3 remastered for all platforms? If you guys would be excited for that. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.